Disclaimer. To the Pharisees and Karens out there.
How dare you!
All guests on this show do not reflect the opinions of the host. The purpose of this show is to have interesting conversations, stretch our minds, and grow.
Not what we want!
If you are looking for an echo chamber, viewer and listener discretion
is advised.
You talk about extreme.
What is happening and what is up? Hold out your glass, because we're about to fill it up.
Torches high.
Look at it from a different perspective.
Hey, what is happening and what is up? Hold out your glass, because we are about to fill it up. Welcome to the Prometheus Lens podcast, a place where the conversations are always enlightening. And if you are within the sound of my voice, this means you are an All Access Pass subscriber. And if you're catching us on the rewind, you missed the train and you got nobody to blame but yourself. You got the invites, you got told about it ahead of time, and you missed the man, the myth, the legend, L.A. Marzulli. But hey, L.A., thank you, man, for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate your time, sir.
Hey, great to be here, and it's always good to see you, and congrats on your new book. I can't wait to read it.
Hey,
sounds very fascinating.
Well, we get started here, and this is a time where my members get together and we get to hang out and talk and get to bring on the authors and researchers and the 10,000+ hour guys and let them ask their burning questions. And usually it's a small group. We usually have like 8 or 10 of us show up, and usually we have some stragglers roll in, about 10 or 15 minutes late. So right now there's 4 of us in here, but we'll go ahead and get started. But I guess just to get started, I'll prime the pump, L.A. You're always a man with 1 log in the fire and 2 more prepped. What kind of projects do you got going on right now? Can you give us any kind of insight on what's up next?
Well, basically, my business partner, Gil Zimmerman, and I are working on Holy Shroud, Holy Fire. It's a film on the Shroud of Turin and the Holy Fire, which has manifested for 1,700 years at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. And it's a very ambitious film. No one is linked the two together filmically. A lot of films on the Shroud, but never on the Holy Fire with the Shroud. And so the book is, or the film is, hopefully we'll have it done by the end of March. It should be out in April sometime. And then we're doing On the Trail of a Nephilim, number 9 in the series, which we filmed back in 2023. So it's been sitting there for, now it's coming up on 2 years this August. Unbelievable. Lots of information on that. Can't really talk too much about it. We are in post. In fact, I just filmed something with Brent Hite, which is part of the film at Prophecy Watchers a couple of days ago. So Brent drove into PW. I did an interview with Mondo Gonzalez. Then we changed the set all up, and thank you, Tyler Wood, if you're watching. And then Brent and I sat down and did an interview that will go into On the Trail of a Nephilim number 9. The big thing for me, and I felt a redirect from the Lord, I've got a speaking engagement every month till September. And from October to December, we're not taking anything. So I've got 1 speaking engagement, and we already canceled 2 of them. We might cancel another one because the Lord is basically saying, take a step back from the conferences. And here's why. Prophecy Watchers, when I go down to Orlando, the end of this month, March, not February, but March 1st is tomorrow. So when I go down there at the end of the month, there'll be about 1,000 people there. So it's a good conference. But some of these smaller conferences, 300 or 400 people, look, we get between 10 and 20,000 hits on our YouTube channel every day. So, where do you want to be? And what I'm realizing now, we're really focusing on the YouTube channel big time. So we've sort of shifted You go back 5 or 6 years ago, my focus was more on conferences, or 10 or 15 years ago, conferences. Now it's like, nope, and my son-in-law, John Adam, who does all the editing for it, we're on this thing. We really want to build up the following. Right now, we've got about 230,000 subscribers. So, you just think about it. 10,000 people, let's just round it down to 10,000 people a day. I mean, that's a lot of eyeballs.
Right.
It's more than a mega church, for crying out loud. It's crazy. So everything is shifting. Do people still buy books? I hope they do. There's Rungs of Disclosure. There's the latest book. But do they buy DVDs? I would hope they would buy DVDs. Here's our 10-box set. But on UFOs, thank you, Gil Zimmerman, my business partner. But here's the deal. The streaming site, which has, 30 DVDs, including this 10 DVD series, streaming.lamarzulli.net, you can watch all 30 of them, $5 a pop. So instead of spending $20 for a DVD and waiting for the thing to come in the mail, you just go click, there it is, streaming, pay your $5, watch the film, and you're done. Everything is shifting, Justin. Everything is shifting. And so the same thing with the books. This book will be available. This is the newest book, Rungs of Disclosure, lamarzulli.com, rungsofdisclosure.com. But that we're really close to finishing the audiobook. Probably by Monday, we'll hand it off to Charisma, and that'll be available fairly soon. So everything is in flux. Most people, especially your generation, and I sort of challenge somebody for, why don't you guys buy books? He goes, well, I can put my earbuds in, I can hit twice as fast, and I'm listening to the audiobook at double the speed. Thank you. Yeah. I can listen to it, and half the time it would take me to read it. Now, I took a course in speed reading back when I was a teenager, and I can speed read. I mean, I learned how to do that. But you've got to be really focused in a very quiet environment and really focused on what you're doing. So, I mean, it's a kind of long-winded answer to your question, but that's where I'm at right now. That's what I'm doing.
With all of the recent changes in the political and financial markets, there has never been a better time than right now to invest in silver and gold. When governments simply print billions of dollars in paper money in hopes of solving financial shortfalls, you know that it is time to buy and hold assets of true and lasting value. Free information is available to you right now by calling 888-747-3309. Whether you are a new investor or you're interested in preserving the value of your retirement accounts, we make it easy for you to make smart decisions for your financial future. The specialists at Cornerstone are here to serve you, work to satisfy your retirement goals, and communicate with respect. Call us right now at 888-747-3309. That's 888-747-3309. Or visit us online at cornerstoneassetmetals.com. That's cornerstoneassetmetals.com.
I highly encourage you. Take some of your 401k, 20-30% of it, and invest into hard, tangible assets that you can hold in your hand that will only increase in value. And be sure to click the link below, and when you go sign up, tell them that Doc Brown from Prometheus Lens sent you. See you guys.
Are you a hunter or hiker or prepper, or just someone who enjoys the great outdoors? Whichever case that may be, Squatch Survival Gear has you covered. Not only is this a veteran-owned company, all of the products are 100% made in America, baby. All the way down to the fabric and every stitch. So whether it's a day hike, a weekend getaway, or the ultimate bug out bag, head on over to squatchsurvivalgear.com and use the code PLP10 for 10% off store-wide.
That's awesome. Yeah, because everybody's on the go. It's a generation of instant gratification, and everyone's on the go.
Everyone's on the go. And look, I'll be 75 in December. I'm on the go constantly. I don't constantly on the go.
But I know me and you were talking. I guess I'll go ahead and dive a little further. We were talking pre-roll about Esau. I'd like to pick your brain a little further on that.
Well, you told me you just finished this book on it, and I've always been. I mean, there's so many passages in the biblical prophetic narrative that leave you scratching your head, and you just go, "Can I have a paragraph? Can I have a page on this? Can I have something?" Like we talked about this, before we started rolling the show. What the heck are two lion-headed men? What the heck is that? I mean, seriously? It's just like, oh, the two lion-headed men, blah, blah, blah. It's like, wait a minute, time out. And then you get to Esau. Jacob I have loved, Esau I have hated. Look at the lineage of Esau, what comes from Esau's loins. He was a hairy man. What does that mean? What the heck is that? And then the Lord says, Jacob I have loved, Esau I have hated. And, different commentators will say different things. I took your admonition because I know you got a lot of stuff from the book of Jasher. I've got it sitting on my coffee table. It's been there for like 3 months. I still haven't cracked it. And as I said, I got a stack of books, The Grid of the Gods and all this other stuff. And there's only so many hours in a day. And so I took that stack and I'll put it on my bookshelf and I'll get to that later. But I feel basically what I'm saying is I feel the Lord redirecting my steps. So I will crack open the book of Jasher tonight before I go to bed. So there you go.
I guess like you, we discussed over at the conference how I got into similar studies as you, more to the Bible than what I, realized. And I said, what can I do, Lord? I got a couple years off work. Lucky enough to be able to study a little bit. And first I ran into Chuck Missler, and then Tom Horn, Gary Stearman, eventually L.A., not too long after that, then Steve Quayle, Timothy Alberino. Done a lot of studying, I guess, since 2012. One of the questions I had is, how did you meet Chuck, L.A.?
Chuck was a mentor to me. When I had my cabinet shop, now we're back in, the late 80s, right? So it's 40 years ago, almost, okay? And he had 6640. And when my cabinet shop, at 4:00, I would run out to my van. The guys were still working, and the sawdust is flying everywhere and all this stuff. And I'm out in my van listening to Chuck Missler, 6640. As the years went by, my first book was published in 1998, 99. Nephilim, that's 26 years ago, guys. So for people saying that, all these newcomers, excuse me, I've been doing this for about 40 years, okay? And professionally, the Lord changed my ministry. I was a worship leader. So here we are. So the book Nephilim came out, and I actually gave a copy of it to Chuck. And then On the Trail of a Nephilim came out about a decade later, and Chuck was at a Prophecy Watchers conference, walking by the table, and Chuck, how you doing? Now, I had interviewed Chuck for our Watchers series. I called him up on the phone. I got his adjutant, and we set up an interview. And so my late business partner, Richard Shaw, and I went out, and we interviewed him. So we knew each other by that point, and some of that interview was incredible. Chuck, what do you think about the hybrids? Without missing a beat, he goes, Satan's out number 2 to 1, he's building an army, quote unquote. Satan's out number 2 to 1, he's building an army. Profound statement right off the top of his head. He didn't have to think about it. It was in his wheelhouse. So now it's like we've already done the Watchers thing, and Chuck is at the Prophecy Watchers conference. Hey, Chuck, check this out. And I give him an On the Trail of a Nephilim. That blew him away because for the first time, really in the history of the Christian church, and I'm boasting, I get that, somebody went out to the field and did all this research. That would be me.
It's an awesome story.
Yeah.
Chuck's
Good question, Travis. Yeah, that led down a really great path and story. That was awesome. And that's why I love getting together, man, and having these discussions with guys like you, because the stories that you get, you get those intimate stories. But I was talking with Lindsay. She was eating dinner earlier, and that's why she didn't respond. But she does want to speak with you, and she has an excellent story and I have coaxed her into sharing it with you, Ellie. I have interviewed her on my show, and she has an excellent story that I know that you would be interested in.
Great. Let's hear it.
Hey, LA. It's so nice to meet you.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi. So I am an ex-New Ager. I've recently come to Christ, like in the last, I guess, a year and a half now. And I've heard your name a lot, and people talk so highly of you. But I am not totally up to date on all your research and all your expertise. But I've been recommended your books and like podcasts like a bazillion times, including by Justin and other people. So I need to catch up. But I know that you really dove into the giants and ATs from the biblical perspective. And I personally was visited by ETs for a month. And they came in the form of orbs. And I was wondering, like, in all your research, like, is that a normal occurrence? What do you think that is? I've heard a lot of people tie it to the wheels within the wheels and in Ezekiel, and it seems like that's angelic technology, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
So were the orbs inside the house or what?
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of those things I tell people. It's like, to me, you have this blurb in Genesis 6, and you have this blurb with Esau. So it's like, this book was written to these people of this time that they weren't thinking of us thousands of years later.
No, they're not.
Missing all this context,
It's just like when Jesus says, it'll be like the days of Noah when I return. Everybody knows what that means. Nobody's talking about the Sethite theory because that wasn't invented until 400 years later. So no one's talking about that. When Jesus says that statement, everybody knows the days of Noah, Nephilim, fallen angel seed. They all know it. The fact that Jude is quoting the book of Enoch, people can tap dance around that till the cows come home. You don't quote something unless it's part of your wheelhouse, unless it's part of your spirit man or your spirit woman. You're not quoting the book of Enoch. You know that. That's all that is.
Oh, Travis, could you mute your mic?
So here's something. Thanks, Travis. Here's something to think about. Jude is Jesus' half-brother, younger brother. So where did Jude get the book of Enoch from? I mean, this is wild conjecture on my part. But did Jesus go, hey, Jude, check this out, and hand him the book of Enoch? You need to read this because you're going to write about it later. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what happened. Please don't call me a heretic. But, I mean, I travel in things like this because how did Jude get the book of Enoch? Obviously, it was widely read if he's quoting from it. It's found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And yet, all these biblical scholars make a big stink. Oh, don't read the book of Enoch. You'll go to hell. That type of thing. Excuse me. Oh, it's a pseudepigraphical book. It's not part of our canon. Blah, 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 blah. Excuse me. The book of Enoch is one of the most important scriptures or non-canonical tomes that a person can read. You can take the 6th chapter of the book of Enoch and overlay it with the King James Version of the 6th chapter in Genesis. They read word for word, except the Benai Elohim, the sons of God. Enoch says the angels of heaven. He tells you exactly what's going on. So the whole idea of the Sethite theory, where somehow it's the godly line of Cain and the hoochie mamas of whatever, it's just it just makes no sense. Godly lines of Seth, hoochie mamas of Cain. I got it mixed up. So,
well, you remember those T-shirts I printed at that conference that you loved so much? Yeah. Kissing cousins don't make 30-footers.
No, they don't. I mean, they really don't. That's a great T-shirt. But, there's so much that we don't know. One thing I announced it today. I'm working with my lawyer. We are creating a petition, and I want 10 or 20,000 signatures. It'll be an online petition. We are going to give it to Elon Musk, send it to President Trump, send it to Kash Patel, send it to the whole cabinet. And here's the petition. The museums in our country are funded, most of them, by taxpayer dollars. The Smithsonian, yes, they've got grants, but it's federal government tax money that funds them. And all these museums are in lockstep. They have a paradigm, and that paradigm is the Darwinian paradigm. Excuse me, well, that's a religion. You can call it what you want. Oh, it's science, all right. No, it's a religion because it's never been proven, and it never will be because it's a straw man argument. Let's just make something up. And even today, this is 40,000 years old. Excuse me, how do you know it's 40,000 years old? You just pick a number out of the air and run with it. Sorry, not buying it. And the petition will be to open up the Smithsonian Institute. You know where Pam Bondi and SD New York City, their FBI is not releasing the Epstein files. This is what we got. We have people that are in our government that are being paid by taxpayer dollars who are not being transparent. It's got to stop. It's got to stop all across the board. And no one's talking, this is my wheelhouse, the Smithsonian, all these museums, which are funded by taxpayers' money. Oh, there's no giants here. Oh, there's nothing to see. Oh, there were no bones. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Excuse me. I discovered stuff in the museums. Yeah. I know that they are there. And don't give me this nonsense that, well, we have no idea. Let's open it up. Let's open the Smithsonian up. Let's see what's there. Let's open up all these, emails that go back and forth. I mean, seriously? And I'm going to start a petition, a legal petition with my lawyer, and we're going to send it out. Probably within a week to 10 days, we'll have that up on the website. And I hope to get, we have 230,000 subscribers. Now, it needs to get done. And this is the administration. If anybody's going to do it, it needs. And then, Elon Musk has and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. They're not fooling around anymore. And this is, look, when you go into the museum in Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, it's a huge museum, millions and millions and millions of dollars. Okay, and when you walk down the steps, there's this huge mural. In fact, let me see if I can get it for you. Hold on. Give me a secundo. I just want to show you the picture.
Well, even the one that you found in Catalina Island.
Well,
they end up photoshopping the thing out even when you do find the stuff.
Here it is right here.
And what is that?
I will read it to you. This is from the Field Museum in Chicago. From so simple a beginning, endless forms, most beautiful and most wonderful, have been and are being evolved. This is Charlie Darwin. Excuse me, that's your religion. It's not my religion. How dare you put that up and make this complete straw man argument on nothing? Just because you guys say so, because you hate the God of the Bible, you hate the supernatural, and this gives you a way out. Oh, we don't need a savior. We're all good. There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is no judgment. There are no absolutes. This is the whole left-wing agenda, which, thank God for Donald Trump, is just falling of its own weight at record pace, by the way. It's incredible. So, that's on the wall of the Field Museum in Chicago. That would be like me saying, if I reverse that, I could say, right, I could write this. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. He was with God in the beginning. All things were created by him, and without him, nothing that was made that was not made. Now, why isn't that up there? Well, because that singles out one religion, LA, blah, 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 blah. Last time I checked, America was still a Christian nation, in spite of what Obama told us, 10 years ago. Nonsense, Barack, Barry. That's ridiculous. So that's what the petition's about, and I'm really serious about this. Super serious about it. I'm going to start writing it maybe tonight, tomorrow morning, but soon, because this petition needs to go out. People need to sign it. It needs to be a legal petition, and my lawyer will send it up. He's got connections, so we will send it up. Because what if the Smithsonian has 12-foot skeletons in there? We know it all went to the Smith. We know that. 9-footers, 10-footers.
They did anyway.
Say what?
I said at one point in time they did anyway.
Yeah,
whether they still got it or not.
Whether they, they put them on a barge and dumped them in the Atlantic Ocean.
That's the story, ain't it?
If they did that, there's got to be a paper trail. And that's what we got to get. And, none of this. Why is it that the American people can't see what's there? Why is it that everything is a managed agenda?
Hey, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you've reached the end of the line for you. If you want to see the rest of this episode, get 48-hour early access, ad-free content, and members-only episodes just like this one, you need to go over to PrometheusLensPodcast.com, follow the members link, and sign up for the All Access Pass. And don't fret, I've made it easy. There's a link down in the description. Torch is high, guys.